Já está. Pessoal, eu peço-vos imensa desculpa porque tive uma quebra, no meu streaming. Não foi a internet, porque a internet está a funcionar. Porque eu tenho aqui uma leitura de gráfico da internet, portanto foi mesmo o streaming que caiu. Portanto eu presumo que o pessoal esteja neste momento a ligar-se. Neste momento está-me aqui a dizer que tenho 0 viewers, 11, portanto o pessoal está-se a ligar outra vez.
Yeah.
O pessoal está-se a ligar outra vez. Opa,
Yep.
Fónix, eu tenho que começar a rezar aos anjos para que as más línguas, as línguas porcas, não me façam uma cumba com caraças do canal. Fogo. Queres fazer alguma coisa? Bolas. Voltando ao assunto que eu estava a traduzir, eu tinha perguntado por causa das legendas e tinha perguntado ao Devido o que é que falhou na primeira parte e o que é que está previsto para a segunda, agora para a Dani Copina. Em relação à primeira parte, não é que tenha falhado, mas foi realmente um enorme problema a quantidade de pirataria que foi feita em Portugal ou no Brasil, porque a tradução até tem legendas em português, mas é um português brasileiro que provavelmente nem tinha sido cá, mas que em Portugal foi amplamente divulgado o filme pirateado através das redes sociais. E que, como não era, o filme não estava a ser adquirido, não estava a ser feito dinheiro, não estava a ser atingido o propósito, acabou por não haver dinheiro para incluir as legendas em português no filme e divulgar o filme em português. Portanto, fica já aqui a resposta em relação a isso. Em relação à segunda parte, vocês não conhecem a nicotina, o Didio está a dizer que agora já tem 2 empresas internacionais que já estão prontas a ajudar financeiramente para o alugar de um cinema, porque tiveram a fazer contas e há uma necessidade de ter cerca de 600 pessoas para ver, pelo menos, convidados importantes a verem, não só da área do vaping, mas da área política e comunicação social, por exemplo, e que é preciso um teatro grande. E para ter um teatro grande só por conta de um documentário destes é preciso muito dinheiro. Portanto, ficam aqui e vamos entrar no modo do dinheiro, que é contactarem o Didio através do Billion Lives Portugal, para quem quiser ajudar a patrocinar a vinda do documentário para Portugal. Mas vamos entrar na questão do dinheiro. Aaron, now you are only missing for your goal in the Kickstarter. I got the link in my description, and I've got a bot in my chat posting the link for your Kickstarter. Your goal was $50,000. You already have almost 49, so you are only missing 1,100. My question is, $50,000 is going to be enough for the documentary, or this is just the beginning? Because I know the costs of the things. You already have some sponsorships, you already have some partnerships, or this is only for covering the travels, the interviews, and all the rest, it will come during the editing of the video and preparing the releasing of the video?
Yeah, so the movie isn't being sponsored by any companies. We do have a fiscal sponsorship, though, and I know that's a little bit weird way of saying it, but that basically a nonprofit, like an NGO, is technically overseeing the finances for this, to make this a nonprofit effort, so that if people give money to it, that they're actually able to, at least in the U.S. and other similar countries, they're able to deduct that from their taxes. But as far as like companies, we're not going to have any companies sponsoring this movie. It's a pretty sensitive topic. The last thing we need is people assuming that we're doing this topic for money or for corporate interests, and that's definitely not the case. So the 50,000, yes, we're about to hit that goal. That's the minimum that we need to get started. You know, theoretically, well, it's definitely not enough to make it a global hit, because $50,000 wouldn't even cover the marketing probably for it. And so, in some ways, you know, it's definitely not enough. But I will tell you this, that there are other ways to raise funds once the movie's done. You know, whether that's through distribution rights or other, you know, even some of those parties like we had last time. If people wanted to host parties, we did use the sponsorships from those to pay for the big events that we had. We're not talking about any of those kind of things until the movie's done at this point, simply because we want to avoid any sort of conflicts of interest, or, you know, any sort of, you know, feeling that maybe we're you know, trying to cater to an industry, or, you know, one industry or another. We're going to be dealing with a lot of different industries in this movie. Again, you know, we're going to be dealing with medical industries. We're going to be dealing with, I mean, technically, even tobacco industries and nicotine industries and vaping industries, and a lot of nonprofits. You know, we're going to be talking about Alzheimer's and dementia and that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, we're just trying to keep everything as clean as possible, and that's why we're doing the crowdfunding. We are going to make the movie once we hit that goal, and that looks like we're going to hit it. So it looks like we're definitely making a movie. But how big of a movie, that'll kind of depend on the funding. We do have some stretch goals in the Kickstarter, which one of those is to put 1 billion lives out for free around the world. And, you know, we'll be celebrating if we get higher goals with that sort of a thing. So, yeah, I mean, it's not enough, but we're going to make a movie one way or the other, and we're going to do our best, just like we did with 1 billion lives. But we appreciate everyone who's getting behind it.
So the $50,000 mark is like the first step on Kickstarter, but then Kickstarter will keep on going with different goals. Okay.
Yep.
Eu perguntei ao Aaron, o link está disponível aí na descrição do vídeo do direto e está aí no chat de vez em quando a aparecer, para quem quiser ajudar a criar este documentário. E o Kickstarter está com um primeiro nível para atingir $50 mil, e que neste momento já está em 48.929, portanto falta um pouco mais de $1.000 para atingir esta primeira conquista. E eu perguntei se o dinheiro chegava, porque eu acho que é definitivamente pouco para fazer um documentário destes, para as viagens, para ir fazer as entrevistas, para o material, para as despesas. Isto é muito pouco. E o Aaron respondeu que isto é realmente uma primeira fase, porque o Kickstarter vai continuar a angariar dinheiro, e esta é a primeira fase para poder arrancar com as entrevistas e poder ter material para depois criar o documentário. Em relação ao documentário, ele, como vai ter vários alvos para fazer as entrevistas das várias indústrias, dos vários tipos de empresas que nós possamos pensar, desde a saúde, ao vaping, à demência, à farmacêutica, que ele não tem quaisquer patrocinadores, mesmo por causa do conflito de interesses que podem resultar no próprio estudo que ele vai fazer e no próprio documentário que ele vai fazer. Acho que isto resume um bocado a questão. Apenas dizer-vos que, se o dinheiro angariado através do Kickstarter for realmente uma das próximas metas a atingir, que é libertar 1 million lives gratuitamente para todo o mundo. Portanto, está o link aí na descrição do vídeo, está o link aí no chat a passar. Quem quiser ajudar, $5 a cada um, nós conseguimos. E neste momento estamos com $49.178. Aaron, at this time we have $49,178. So the value is growing, and I think.
Yeah, I'm seeing some of the people watching this are supporting it. So thank you.
And for what I know, one of the biggest supports that have been done at this moment, it was Daniel, because he usually do this when we are asking money for something. Daniel is the first going for it. He did it for my channel, so this is another question. So he did it for my channel, and when we are starting to raise money for something, Daniel is the first one to clicking on the donate.
Oh yeah. Well, and when I first talked to Daniel about this movie, he was he was definitely one of the first people to encourage that we make this movie. So he's a leader, and he's definitely someone who I'm a big fan of myself. So yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think you did a wonderful job. Pessoal, neste momento o Kickstarter atingiu 49.178, portanto faltam 822 euros para atingir a meta. Vamos nós, os portugueses, tentar atingir isto. Vamos tentar nós, os portugueses, com este direto, passar os 50 mil. About the nicotine, and before we are going to enter this, I just want to put a little spot of the sponsor, one of the sponsors of my live streams. And today I have a sponsor, so I'm going just to put a little video of my sponsor. So it's just 30 seconds, and it's Cloudhouse. Cloudhouse, Vapor Stores, várias lojas. Está no mapa das lojas jbdigit.pt, no meu site. Vocês conseguem encontrar, e Cloudhouse é um dos patrocinadores do direto de hoje. Ora, visto o patrocinador, vamos continuar. Tenho uma pergunta. I've got a question from a super chat. You have another $100 by the owner of a vapor shop in Portugal, João Ribeiro, from the vape station. Awesome. Yeah. I've got a question.
Very nice. Thank you.
I've got a question from the president of the Brazilian Association of Vaping. It's very recent, so it's very recent. It's still forbidden, the commercial of vaping in Brazil. So this is one of the things that you might want to embrace also during your presentation of the documentaries, both of them. And the president is asking.
Can I say?
Yeah.
Oh, he has a question.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I went to Brazil last year, and I met with people that were vaping and smoking in Brazil, and I actually made a very short film there in Portuguese. And I talked to a mother who couldn't quit smoking even though she was having a baby, and then her husband showed her his vaping device, and she was able to quit afterwards, and actually made a big impact in her life. So I definitely see Brazil, and I know Brazil. It's a little bit tougher in some cases because Brazil doesn't always like people like me making films in their country, and so it's a little tricky. But I definitely am intrigued by Brazil, and I think that if people in Brazil are interested in helping us make this film, and we see more right now. So if you go to Kickstarter and you click on the community tab, there's a community tab. You can see all the cities and the countries where the backers are coming from. And, I don't see Brazil on there, but if the people of Brazil really wanted this, we would definitely come down there. But right now it's very difficult to come down there. So we would need a little bit of help with that, but it's on my mind.
Ok, eu perguntei ao Aaron acerca do Brasil. Ele disse que o Brasil ainda não tem ninguém que tenha contribuído para o projeto, mas que ele chegou a fazer uma pequena entrevista com uma mãe que não conseguia deixar de fumar, e alguém mostrou o dispositivo de vaping e gerou ali uma conversa e uma entrevista. Aaron, the question is from the president of Abra Vapers, the association. What does he need to do to have the possibility to have this partnership about translation and the event of launching the You Don't Know Nicotine in Brazil, or even the Billion Lives also, because I think this is the most important one until now. So he's asking, what should he do to contact you or the team, or to start this partnership, and even to get to let the Brazilian guys know about these documentaries, because most part of them don't know. So what should he do?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of, I guess, if they want to reach out directly to either our Facebook page or even Devido, in Portuguese, just depending on if I don't know I don't know Portuguese very well myself, the language. Although I enjoyed it and I learned a lot of it when I was down in Brazil. I'm learning it now a little bit too. But you know, if they know a little bit of English, maybe we can talk directly. Otherwise, you know, with Devido, that would be fine. But we would like to do that. I see this as an opportunity to help a lot of people out. I personally really like Brazil. I've, you know, like I said, I have been there filming recently. I liked it. I liked the people a lot. We would like to have a very large event in Sao Paulo or Rio, you know, and have, you know, Brazilian celebrities come and make a big noise to make this change, because people should not have to buy things on the internet, you know, that they don't know if they're good or not. They shouldn't have to have a black market. It is being sold in Brazil, but it's being sold illegally, and that means that the consumers don't get protection, you know. And so I would love to help rally, you know, people in Brazil for that, and obviously, you know, Portugal in different ways as well. So I think just need to reach out. You know, I would love to, you know, we can perhaps you know, we either could make another page, you know, or we could use the same one depending on how the languages work together. I know that people in Brazil speak a little different version of Portuguese. It's my understanding, but
it's not different.
No?
It's not that different.
Okay.
Some semantics are
Okay.
different, but most part of it is the same.
Okay. So, you know, we need to just make that page big, and we need to work together on it. And if there's, you know, help, you know, if Devido needs help with that, you know, maybe we need you know, extra help with, you know, adminning. I don't know, but we have a page in Portuguese, and we continue to invite people in Brazil to be a part of that. I am excited. I definitely will tell you also, just another note to my friends in Brazil, we are working on other things as well to help, not just this movie. I want you to know that. I can't talk about these things yet.
Okay.
But we are not going to let this, we're not going to let it stay how it is. And I'm going to work with you on this. In fact, we have something we're working on that's actually in Portuguese. The name of my project is in Portuguese. So we are absolutely not going to leave you guys behind on this. I know we are in different countries, but that does not matter to me. We are one big world and one big family, and we need to work together. So please reach out. And do not fear, I'm not, you know, some American who doesn't care. You know, I just happen to be born here, just like you guys were born where you were born.
If you didn't care, you didn't do the 1 billion lives. So it's simple as that. Eu perguntei ao Aaron, por causa de uma pergunta que o Elson Souza fez no Superchat, e Elson Souza, obrigado pela doação. Porque é uma forma que eu tenho com o chat a correr, e com esta nova configuração de equipamento, o Superchat assim ajuda-me a conseguir ler perguntas para conseguir transmitir, que não está a ser fácil gerir isto tudo hoje. E então com o problema da quebra deixou-me com o estado nervoso assim um bocado mais elevado. O Elson Souza perguntou acerca da possibilidade da divulgação, distribuição ou até da parceria para a tradução e legendagem. O Aaron respondeu que entrem em contacto com ele, com a equipa, através do site A Billion Lives, porque ele já está, inclusive ele já está a trabalhar com alguém do Brasil a fazer um projeto em português por causa do problema no Brasil. Portanto, a coisa está encaminhada, ele está a trabalhar com o pessoal brasileiro. Portanto, Elson Souza, como presidente da associação, tens a responsabilidade de contactar quer com a equipa do Billion Lives, quer através do Devido, que é o responsável pela Billion Lives em português. Portanto, Devido, depois haverá aí uma troca de se arranjar. I think Silvestre Festas, I think it's your brother, yeah. It's you? Okay. Devido,
it's my brother.
Yeah. Devido brother already supported with more $100. So we are.
Yes, thank you. I see that we're only $500 US away here. Maybe we'll make it live on the show. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I'm not ready to put here the fireworks and the singing, and yeah. I'm not ready for that. Yeah. Pessoal, estamos a atingir os $50 mil, faltam pouco mais de $500, portanto vamos contribuir para este documentário. Cliquem aí no link. Portanto, vamos ver se a gente consegue fazer a comemoração hoje aqui em direto. About the nicotine, and now there's the question.
Although one quick note. On that international page, on the community page of tab on Kickstarter, Portugal is now one of the top countries. So, thank you, gracias.
Hey, just one question. Daniel is counting as a Portuguese or as an American?
I'm probably counting as a Portuguese because the card I used is Portuguese.
Oh, it's not by the IP, but the credit card, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so it's Portugal. Okay. About the nicotine, you already made your study, you already made your background research to start this documentary, for sure. We have a problem in Portugal, and I think you are going to debate with this all over the country. People that smoke, the scientific part says what it kills is the tar. The nicotine, it's only addictive, but it doesn't harm you. Sometimes you have like caffeine, you have the information that can be goodful for some brain cells and some other problems of health. In some countries like Portugal, you have tobacco with some problems with the taxes, because governments is one of the best incoming for the governments. Then you've got the pharmaceuticals selling nicotine things like patches, like some inhalers, some chewing gums, some every kind of shit with nicotine, and it doesn't pay taxes like tobacco or like vaping in this matter. For vaping in Portugal, the products for vaping are identified like in the United States. This product contains nicotine. So it's a big BS. The question is, in Portugal, we have the nic shots, the nicotine like the TPD compliant thing. We pay more taxes for the nicotine in those shots for the vaping than the main cigarettes in the market. And the nicotine from the pharmaceuticals do not pay taxes like the nicotine for vaping. Okay?
Like the nicotine patches and such.
Yeah. So in your research, this for me is one of the most stupid things that my government is doing. So I always I'm calling my governments as stupid and whatever.
Well, welcome to my club.
So from your research, what was the most stupid thing about nicotine that you are dealing and that you are aiming to contradict?
Demystify.
And demystify in your documentary.
Yeah, I think the worst thing that I've heard is that half of the doctors think that nicotine causes cancer. And that 7 out of 10 people roughly in developed countries believe that, nicotine causes cancer. And so basically, if you think about that, if a person is looking to quit smoking, they probably should use some sort of solution that has nicotine in it, most likely if they've been smoking their whole lives since they were young. But instead what they're doing is they're going into, and I don't need to tell you guys this, you probably know, but what I've heard is they're going into shops saying they would like to have no nicotine in their liquids, or that when they do quit smoking, but they use nicotine, that people are shaming them, and ultimately they just go back to smoking. And so because people are saying, well, you might as well just smoke, you're still using nicotine, and so the fear of nicotine itself, that it's going to cause cancer, to me is the worst thing. And this would be something very easy that the government could solve if they would just put as much energy into telling people that it doesn't cause cancer as they do into making young people afraid of it, which I understand why they're trying to do that, although that's definitely overboard and ridiculous. if they would just tell people the truth about nicotine, we wouldn't have the problems that we have. But instead, you find that they're not helping with the truth. They're basically just continuing with the fear. And so, I would say
you are going to have to back you up on this research from labs about the nicotine chemical part, right?
Oh yeah, we've got scientists that we've already interviewed. We have scientists that we're going to be interviewing all over the world. I met with 13 different medical people around the world in 13 different countries and asked them about it. And we are going to be continuing that research into it and talking with even more scientists in their labs. But our first two interviews were both with people with PhDs that study nicotine. And I would say, just on top of that, this isn't even a debated fact. Nobody in the medical world or science world debates that nicotine causes cancer. Nobody would say that.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing about it, that this is something that everybody agrees with in the research, but that the public doesn't know. And that's part of why we need to have this movie, because this isn't even a controversial thing that I'm saying. Nicotine doesn't cause cancer. That's not controversial. But the public doesn't know it, and 7 out of 10 of them are looking at people who use nicotine like there's some sort of idiots that are causing cancer to themselves and their loved ones, and that's why they want to ban flavors. That's why they want to ban it indoors. That's why they want to do all that kind of stuff, because they don't even understand what's happening, even though it's not a disputed fact.
Yeah.
That's because they've been manipulated by the social media.
Right.
Yeah, that's another question I'm going to ask you about that. Let me just translate this. Eu contei ao Aaron que em Portugal nós temos o tabaco, que é taxado enormemente em impostos, porque o tabaco é uma das grandes fontes da receita do governo. Temos as farmacêuticas com os selos, as chicletes, os sprays para a boca, etc., com nicotina, que não pagam imposto especial de consumo como a nicotina, e depois temos os nickshots, a nicotina, que nós utilizamos no vaping com um imposto especial ainda maior do que a nicotina do tabaco, ou melhor, que o próprio tabaco, e comparativamente que a farmacêutica nem sequer paga esse imposto especial. E eu disse que isto era uma coisa estúpida em Portugal, que eu considero que o governo neste aspecto é a maior estupidez que estão a fazer, e perguntei do estudo dele para começar este documentário, qual foi a coisa mais parva, a coisa mais estúpida que ele viu até agora relacionada com a nicotina. Ele diz que de todas continua a ser a mais comum e a maior, que é o facto de a própria comunidade médica dizer, não oficialmente, mas na forma de rebater o vaping, que a nicotina causa cancro. Ora, isto não há debate possível, porque está mais que provado que a nicotina não causa cancro, é viciante, mas não causa cancro. E então anda tudo à volta disto, porque ele vai ter a apoiar este documentário diversos laboratórios, cientistas, não a comunidade médica em si, mas cientistas que estudam a nicotina na sua vertente química e que vão estar a apoiar, a apresentar este estudo como um estudo real, porque a maior parte da população fica sempre com aquela ideia de que a nicotina é que faz mal. Não é o resto, é a nicotina. Aaron, during your last words and during the Billion Lives, smoking 30 years ago was a pop culture, was a hype, was a social thing to be good looking with a cigarette in the hands. About 10 years ago, we saw the graphic of women smoking growing abruptly and kids growing abruptly. For me, for example, and for most part of the smokers, we started to smoke with 16 years old or less. So it's not, for us, it's not such a big deal knowing that there are kids using smoke or vaping. It's not a big deal knowing that they are starting. It's a big deal, social speaking and healthy speaking. But it's not dramatic to see a kid starting in vaping instead of smoking. It's less harmful, or doing the transition from smoking to vaping even without having the proper age to do it. Don't you think, for your experience of doing these documentaries, that this pop culture, especially on the youngers, it's becoming the vaping on this new era? Not about the nicotine, about the vaping, the tricks, the big clouds. Because when we talk about communities of vaping that join together and do something together, you've got the trickers and the big cloud chasers, not the guys that just quit smoking through vaping. Don't you think this is starting a new pop culture about vaping, especially in the teenagers and underage, legal underage vapors?
Yeah, are you, just to clarify that real quick, are you saying that? Are you asking if I think that that's becoming a part of the culture?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the U.S. specifically, and that's something that I'm going to be spending some more time on here, assuming that we get this movie funded, which we're almost there. So, yeah, I'm going to be looking into this more in other countries, but in the U.S. for sure, that's something that we are definitely seeing is a lot more young people are using nicotine in the form of vapor devices, specifically in the pod systems. You're seeing a lot more of that. And it is a part of the culture. And I've talked to some of these people, and this has all changed since A Billion Lives came out, because these nicotine salts, that was something that I never had heard of until just about a year ago. I never even heard of it, and
Yeah.
so that sort of thing has definitely come around. I think that's something we're definitely going to talk about in the movie as far as that goes. I think we're going to talk directly to young people so that they understand the history of all of this, and actually why they shouldn't start using nicotine if they're not smoking, and why. I think the reason why they shouldn't do it might surprise a lot of people. It's not for the reasons that they think. There's a lot of they might think it's because it causes cancer or some of that kind of things, whereas there's some other good reasons why young people shouldn't be using any chemicals when their brains are developing. And but as far as it being part of pop culture, yeah, I think it is. Although I'm a little bit too old to personally be in the middle of that culture with the young kids that are in secondary school and college and university. But it's definitely a thing for sure, and we're gonna talk about it.
But it's also a fact that throughout the years, our world is not specific to a country or another, but our world tends to make a sport or fun, or it tends to our world these days tends to make a sport out of everything. Even from the most stupid things, we make a new sport, a new
right
thing to do. So it's not just with vaping, it's with many other things.
Well, right, and if you look at the numbers of young people that are using vapor products, these aren't bigger numbers than young people using other products.
Right.
There's a lot more people are using alcohol. A lot more people are using energy drinks, which are showing also to have harm, on young developing brains. Way more people are using that. That's probably 60 to 70 to 80% of young people in the U.S. are using that, and that's causing all kinds of interesting issues. But because it doesn't look like smoking, nobody seems to care.
Yeah.
And so we're going to try to make sure that the risks are discussed and that they're relative.
Yeah, because you have caffeine is worse than nicotine. You've got sugar on the sodas, on the food,
yep.
everything.
It's diabetes in the U.S. is going and that's actually going to be the #1 cause of death in the U.S.
So it's worse than nicotine and the tobacco. So this is not a question. This is just a comparison. Eu perguntei ao Aaron porque no Billion Lives foi tomada a nota de que fumar há cerca de 30 anos atrás foi uma questão de cultura pop, foi uma questão social, uma questão de parecer bem, uma questão de moda. Neste momento está-se a verificar a mesma moda para o vaping, mas especialmente a nível dos mais novos, por causa dos tricks, das nuvens, por causa de fazer bolinhas, etc. E a minha pergunta foi, durante este estudo dele, desta análise que ele andou a fazer para estes documentários, se ele se estava a perceber que realmente existia um aumento muito maior nos jovens a virarem para o vaping do que para o tabaco, e se isto está-se a tornar uma cultura pop entre os mais novos, como aconteceu com o tabaco. E ele diz que realmente está-se a verificar um maior aumento de jovens a vaporizar, mas o aumento é menor do que o aumento habitual do tabaco e que há muito menos jovens a fumar neste momento. E que sim, que é uma questão social, é uma questão de moda, mas que não é de todo um grande problema do ponto de vista dele, que é uma das coisas que ele quer combater, porque há coisas mais graves nos jovens, que é o caso das bebidas energéticas, da cafeína, do açúcar, e que os diabetes, neste momento, é a doença número 1 em mortes nos Estados Unidos. Daniel, Didio, algumas perguntas? Vocês adiantem-se.
No, honestly, I'm just expecting that we can achieve our goal in the middle of this interview.
That'd be crazy. Yeah. Portugal is number 8 now in the top countries. So.
There you go.
Estamos em oitavo no financiar este documentário. Temos já aí algumas contribuições. Pá, eu não vou estar a ver uma a uma através do chat quem esteve a fazer as contribuições. Eu estou mais preocupado em que a internet, o streaming não caia. Estou preocupado se alguém fizer alguma questão através do superchat, que não é o interesse hoje. Hoje o interesse é financiar o Kickstarter do documentário do Aaron. Pessoal, estamos com falta de 445 euros. 5 euros a cada um não custa nada e nós vamos conseguir comemorar esta grande festa hoje aqui. São 11 horas, está dentro da hora prevista para o término deste direto, portanto vamos esperar só mais um bocadinho. Estão 66 pessoas a ver. Contactem os empresários do Vaping que vocês conhecem, liguem-lhes, mandem mensagem para que 5 euros a cada um através do link não custa nada. Não sei quem é esse Luís da Killer que publicou aí um link para o YouTube, mas vai ficar escondido, que nenhum moderador o abra porque eu não sei o que é isso. Daniel, queres fazer alguma pergunta? Que eu entretanto tenho aqui alguns apontamentos, mas queres fazer alguma pergunta?
Para já não. Acho que podíamos aceitar umas perguntas do chat, não?
Yeah.
I've got just one question before we are going to the questions from the chat. In your 1 billion lives, you had a declaration from 1982 from R.J. Reynolds. We don't smoke that shit, we just sell it. We preserve the right to sell to the youngest, to the poor, to the black, and to the stupid. Is it different at this time?
Well, no. I think anytime you try to label someone stupid, I'm stupid. So, I ask my wife sometimes, what does that mean? But ultimately, if you look at the way that these products are still being marketed in the world right now, cigarettes are still being heavily marketed to poorer countries, to younger people. I guess black, as far as that, in that context that was talking about in the U.S. and one of our biggest, groups of people in the U.S. is black people. And so that what they basically meant was minorities in different, cultural groups. And so you see the highest rates of smoking around the world are still in the poorest communities, the indigenous communities, in, those different groups like that. So in a lot of ways, it hasn't really changed. And so, so sadly,
eu perguntei ao Aaron porque no documentário A Billion Lives há uma declaração do R.J. Reynolds, que era o gajo do tabaco na altura, em 1982 mais ou menos, em que ele dizia: nós não fumamos essa merda, apenas vendemos e reservamos o direito a fumar para os jovens, os pobres, os negros e os estúpidos. E eu perguntei-lhe se isto ainda se mantém assim, ou melhor, se agora é diferente, e ele diz que não, porque continua a ser o alvo, continuam a ser as minorias e continuam a ser as pessoas menos informadas. Aaron, we know by now that the tobacco companies are entering the markets with vaping pens like Juuls, like pod systems, things like that. At this moment, when you did the Billion Lives, there was three, not lobbies, but three groups: pharmaceutical, tobacco, and vaping, and government. Okay, because it's a lobby also about money. Yeah, it's the biggest one. At this point, you've got the tobacco companies coming together with vaping products. So now you only have pharmaceutical and governments. At this point, in your way of seeing things, because you are not a vapor, you are not a smoker, but you see better than most part of the vapors and the smokers. So at this point,
some days maybe.
Yeah, with not so many drinking. Yeah, me too.
Right.
How do you see this changing? Or like the question that João Ribeiro asked in the chat, how do you see the future with the tobacco industry entering the vaping market, and how you do see the pharmaceutical answering to this
coalition,
this gathering? Yeah. How do you see this?
Yeah, I think that it's making it harder actually in a lot of ways, because the tobacco companies have a really long history of some stuff that people really don't like, and we talked about that in A Billion Lives. I think that, when I look at the situation, the fact that they were always, way long time ago, they were, if you will, the anti-vaping people were always trying to put tobacco companies in the same mix, and that just wasn't sticking for people at some point. But now obviously it's not really a disputable thing, because in the US, a tobacco company owns probably 80% of the market share now for vaping, because Altria bought Juul and a good chunk of it, and my understanding is that'll continue to be purchased. That now it is a part of the big tobacco in the minds of many people, and that is correct. Now it's no longer a fake thing. It's not fake anymore. It's true. Tobacco companies now own the majority of the vaping products that are being sold in the U.S. And I think that's a weird thing to say. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't sound right. Obviously you guys are using different devices. But that's technically at this point the minority, the small percentage of devices being used, at least in the U.S. And so I think it's going to make it harder, because the people that aren't trying to talk about science are going to talk about emotions. And emotions are that people were upset that they were lied to about cigarettes. They were upset that there was, dishonesty happening. And they're carrying those emotions into the arguments today, even though they don't necessarily apply. And so I think sadly it's going to make it harder. And, I don't know. I think that's why, to be honest, from my perspective, I'm not really interested in who's selling what. I'm really more interested in the science,
Right.
and in the people. And so our movie is going to entirely live in that world, the science and the people. We will talk about the corruption. But that corruption is primarily involving NGOs and government stuff. And, we detailed some of the funding issues in A Billion Lives. We talked about that with pharma funding a lot of these guys. But in a lot of ways that sort of corruption has continued.
You've got the big example of the Cancer Institute research, something like that. Yeah. I'm aware of that. Yeah.
I mean, they're making an incredible amount of money from pharmaceutical industries, folks. And, for me, it's always, I look at the truth. I find the truth first. Then I find out who's not telling the truth. Then I ask why. That's for me. And we're going to do that same thing with this You Don't Know Nicotine. We're going to say, what's the truth? Who's not telling the truth, and why? And I think you're going to, we're going to find some similar answers to last time. We're going to find some new answers. I have some new stories to tell. And,
do you have already bodyguards?
Yeah.
You are going to...
I'm okay. I'm okay to die
forget-
from this. I think if anybody wants to kill me, then
Don't
that'll
forget,
just help make
don't
the
forget
news bigger.
the bulletproof vest and 2 bodyguards, because you are going to face the most dangerous mafia in the world, is the pharmaceutical mafia. So get ready.
I don't dispute that. I think you want to talk about crooked things and lying, and I think that what the pharmaceutical industry has been doing over the years is way worse than anything else in the history of humanity.
Yeah.
But because that they fund medicine, they get a free pass. They get a jail free card, you know, and they've created way more issues. You look at the opioid situation, you look at just the other addictions that are happening from our country, and even still, the FDA just announced that they're going to try to use pharmaceutical industry to fix people who are addicted to vaping. It's confusing.
Because from a financial standpoint, that's what makes more sense to them.
Oh, yeah.
It's to push big pharma.
That's right.
Então eu perguntei ao Aaron, e agora perdi-me no meio destas perguntas todas, peço-vos imensa desculpa, porque um gajo começa a se entusiasmar com a conversa e depois um gajo perde-se para fazer a tradução. A minha pergunta era... Como é que eu comecei esta pergunta, Daniel? Dídio, ajudem-me. Agora perdi-me. Fónix.
Também me perdi. Mas começaste a pergunta com a indústria tabaqueira a juntar-se ao vaping contra o governo e as farmacêuticas.
Ok. Eu perguntei ao Aaron, por causa da junção da indústria tabaqueira juntar-se ao vaping, agora a luta seria desigual em relação à farmacêutica e aos governos, porque considero 2 lobbies, porque o governo é o que mais dinheiro faz com isto tudo. E ele diz que neste momento a preocupação dele é qual é a verdade, quem diz a verdade, ou melhor, o que é que está a esconder e o porquê. E que a guerra dele neste momento está a ser em relação à farmacêutica, porque a farmacêutica, como está a patrocinar, nomeadamente organizações não governamentais como os Institutos para a Pesquisa do Cancro, ou até a própria medicina nacional de cada país, acaba por ter um free pass para poder fazer o que quer e não ser chamado à responsabilidade. Basicamente foi mais ou menos isto, que é o que ele está à procura e é o que ele está a tentar fazer, que é expor os podres. E eu brinquei com esta situação e perguntei se ele já tinha o colete à prova de bala e 2 guarda-costas, porque a meter-se que a farmacêutica vai ter a vida em risco. We are going to open now some questions from the chats. I'm going to be trying to read the chat because...
Let me start with one from Daniel Ramalho.
Yeah, do it.
Daniel Ramalho asks if you were ever threatened before.
You are thinking too much.
Well, there's definitely been a lot of interesting things. There is some very recent news that I haven't told anybody yet because I wanted to wait for the fundraising to be done. But I think when we were making 1 Billion Lives, somebody came to our house and was asking for me in a weird way and never came back and was asking my children, like, some very weird things like that we don't normally, see. I would say mostly, though, I think that anyone who would like to silence us, they were successful, so they don't need to kill me. They don't need to hurt me because all they had to do is ignore me and hope that everybody would pirate the movie and that it would just go away because it wasn't breaking any records and that nobody cared about it. And even though that's not exactly what happened, but it happened enough, and it was controversial and some people couldn't, they did silence us. They silenced us just fine. And actually, that I think if we were to be really loud and to make a lot more noise, which we are going to this time, then yeah, I think I should be afraid a little bit. So I'm okay though. Like I personally am not just, in my particular, beliefs, like I'm not afraid of dying. So, I guess that sounds kind of crazy, but I don't know. I'm not necessarily afraid of it.
It's understandable.
Portanto, eu perguntei a pergunta do Daniel Ramalho em relação à questão de se o Aaron já tinha sido ameaçado alguma vez, ou se já tinha sido perseguido alguma vez, e ele não quis não quis falar em nenhuma situação muito específica, para além da situação que teve de um indivíduo desconhecido chegar à casa dele e tentar entrar em contato com ele, mas depois esse indivíduo nunca chegou a voltar, mas que sim, que se a indústria, qualquer que seja a indústria, se os governos ou a indústria tabaqueira ou a indústria farmacêutica o quisessem silenciar, já o teriam feito, ou aliás, possivelmente já o fizeram, tentando silenciar e tentando abafar a billion lives.
Só acrescentando uma coisa que ele disse, que é devido às suas crenças pessoais, que não tem medo de morrer e que está-se a borrifar para isso. Aaron, another question from Brazil, and regarding Brazil in specific subject. Where the vaping industry, obrigado Elson Souza pela contribuição. This is a question from the president of the Brazilian Association. Like Brazil, the countries where vaping is not allowed, or better, the vaping is allowed, but it's not commercial. It's forbidden, the commercial. And the tobacco industry are the huge top thing in the government growing incoming. Do you think, or do you know from your studies, in these kind of countries, if the biggest barrier to vaping is still the tobacco companies, or is the pharmaceutical lobby?
Well, that's a really good question, and my gut tells me that it's probably the tobacco companies. You know, I don't know for sure though, but I would say in some countries the pharmaceutical industry is not as powerful. In the US, it's very powerful because not only does it have a lot of money and a lot of political connections, but it also has a lot of advertising dollars, which means it helps control the media. I don't believe that's the same in many countries. They don't always allow advertisement from the pharmaceutical industry. I would say that in Brazil, the biggest problem is probably the pride of the health leaders. They're very proud of themselves. They've done a very good job of helping lower smoking rates. Brazil was a world leader in some ways in smoking rates. Unfortunately, that's sort of falling behind now because they're not advancing new technology like vapor technology. But I would say that if an industry like tobacco is very powerful in Brazil, which is my understanding it is, that they would be able to push through these problems just like they do with other issues that they have. And so, but I don't know. You know, I guess I shouldn't say. I guess if he's saying, I don't know Brazil as well as he does, obviously. If he's saying that the tobacco industry is powerful in Brazil, then I would say that the changes are probably their you know, the lack of changes is probably to be put on their plate, their responsibility for those lack of changes. But if the industry in Brazil has been, you know, pushed to the side like it has in many countries, the tobacco industry that is, then I would say that it's the pride of the health leaders who are too proud of themselves to consider, you know, adding new tools to their toolkit. I don't know if does that make sense?
Yeah.
Try to fix that. Try to fix that for me if you can, because I'm not saying for sure that tobacco, but I was going off of what he said, if that's what he was saying, is that tobacco is powerful in their country. Is that a bigger barrier? And I would say probably if so.
Em resposta ao que o Elson Souza contribuiu no Superchat e fez a pergunta, depois de tudo o que tem visto, a indústria tabagista, tabaqueira, ainda é um entrave ao crescimento do vaping, especialmente nos países onde é proibido o vaping, ou a indústria farmacêutica é a principal barreira. E o Aaron disse que há países, e por aquilo que ele entende do Brasil, que a indústria tabaqueira tem muito mais poder do que a indústria farmacêutica e que contrariamente aos Estados Unidos, em que a indústria farmacêutica tem muito poder económico, muito poder político e que consegue, através da publicidade, controlar a comunicação social e controlar a recepção do público, em países como o Brasil, em que provavelmente a farmacêutica não tem tanto poder como a tabaqueira, porque parte da indústria tabaqueira brasileira é produzida até no próprio Brasil, e que então, que sim, que há países como por exemplo o Brasil, pelo menos na ideia dele, que a tabaqueira poderá ser o maior entrave para o vaping, porque a própria indústria local ainda não se virou para o vaping como indústrias tabaqueiras em outros países do mundo. E que ele diz que não tem a certeza do que está a dizer, mas que é o que ele consegue perceber daquilo que vai fazendo e daquilo que vai ouvindo por parte da comunidade. And sorry, because my dog sometimes when hear some noises from the outside just starting to do their job.
Bark.
Yeah, bark, doing their job, security. I'm checking the value in the Kickstarter. So
Yeah, me too.
I just want to end this with the $50,000 done it. I've got two questions from the chat. Now that I have time to read a little bit the chat. From as Godinho is asking, in a scale from 0 to Michel Moore, how much did you want to turn yourself as an activist during the 1 billion lives and now during the you don't know nicotine, in the sense to confront your guests on the interviews?
Yeah. Well, with 1 billion lives, we were trying to, definitely have a. Oh, actually, I just got a notification. I think we just hit the goal here.
Congratulations!
Yeah, we just hit the goal. It's popping up right on my screen, right above.
Whoa!
$50,000 and $4. $50,000 and $4.
Yeah.
So Portugal.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you to everyone in Portugal and Brazil. We definitely are excited to share that with you guys live. So that's cool.
Congratulations.
That's
I just want to ask you one thing. When this documentary is going to be released in Portugal, I hope you can be here, and I want an exclusive interview for the Portuguese community. So this is my goal with you.
As long as these other guys don't want to fight you for it, so we'll see.
No, Daniel does it in English, so it doesn't count.
That's right.
And Devido doesn't have a YouTube channel for vaping, so I'm the winner.
Yep, I think so. Yeah, I definitely, I really want to come to Portugal. I've never been. I believe it would be a very special experience. The people I have met from Portugal are some of my favorite people in the world, and I definitely want to come there. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of getting it figured out, and then the whole cost of putting it on, and then hopefully me getting over there. That's all. It's not a wanting thing. I want to do it, and I wanted to do it last time. It's just a matter of can we get it done. And so I'm going to work hard at that. This was a special experience, hitting our goal live on your show. So, of course, we got to continue this.
I don't have the fireworks and the champagne, and I'm drinking tea. So this is my way of celebrating. Pessoal,
let's not start spending money just tea.
Yeah. Em português agora.
Yep.
Parabéns a todos vocês que estão a ver o direto, que comparticiparam, que fizeram atingir a meta dos $50 mil. É graças a vocês que se conseguiu hoje, num vídeo histórico, em português, em direto, atingir a meta que estava prevista para dar início a este documentário. Portanto, Portugal vai ficar na história deste documentário como tendo sido nós, em direto e ao vivo e a cores, conseguimos ultrapassar a meta que estava prevista para dar início a este documentário. Portanto, vocês que nos estão a ver, vocês, e que estão aí a contribuir e que estão aí a participar, vocês são os grandes vencedores da meta de hoje, e o meu agradecimento vai para vocês, porque foram vocês que conseguiram isto. Eu sinto-me honrado pelo facto histórico de ter acontecido no meu canal, em direto, em português, mas o agradecimento a todos vocês, mesmo por parte do Aaron, porque foi realmente... eu até fico sem palavras, pá. Até parece que fui eu que ganhei os $50 mil. I'm saying that I'm lacking words, because I feel so thrilled, so emotional with this. It seems it was me earning the $50,000. You know, it's something that it pleased me so much, being in Portuguese, being in my channel, being live, and you be able to achieve this in my small channel, in my small community of Portuguese guys. So
we're all small in this big fight. We're all small. So we have to work together. I'm small. We're all small. We have a giant enemy, a giant enemy in this case. So yeah, you might be small, but together, I think we are something. And so, very emotional for me. I will always remember this this moment here on your channel where we hit our goal live. I know that people in Portugal and Brazil, you know, we're supporting this. I actually get notifications on my phone every time, so I see the names. You know, these are not American names, so I know. And then I see the refresh. These are people from Portugal and Brazil. So yeah, it's this is very special, and I love it, and I can't wait. I can't wait to come to do big events in Portugal and Brazil. That's going to be a goal of mine here, and we're going to do our best to do it. I would also like to come and film in both those countries as well. It's just we'll see. We are going to interview Daniel, but perhaps if we had enough funds, maybe we would go to Portugal and show where he lived. You know,
I just build some Portuguese scenery around here, and
yeah, in the ice.
This is an honor for me. I'm so proud of your achievements doing here live, and the people who know my channel knows that when something that we achieve in my channel, I get so emotional about it, and I feel so happy. Congratulations, and thank you to all the Portuguese language people from Portugal, from Brazil, even from Germany, Switzerland. We've got people here from all over the world attending these live shows. Even one guy from South Africa. So yeah, this is international. So this is happy
we
times.
Did it.
It's huge. It's big. It's huge.
Yeah, we're making a movie. We're doing it. After I'm done on this show, I'm gonna go hug my wife and tell her the good news. I don't think she knows it yet.
Yeah, she's not seeing the streaming.
And she's gonna say something like, "Oh no, you're gonna be away for a long time again."
Yeah, well, she works with me too, so she's gonna be part of this. So
that's good.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite the adventure. It's gonna be something.
One of the last questions I have for you is.
Although I didn't answer that question though.
Oh yeah, go for it.
So I would say, you know, we tried to be nothing like Michael Moore in the first one because we wanted to provide a very, you know, for the most part, very calm argument. The problem is, I think some people said it wasn't spicy enough, you know, and I understand that. So I think we're going to be somewhere maybe from a scale of 0 to Michael Moore. We're going to be right in the middle. So we're going after it. We're going to get the truth.
You have
so
you have to have the balls. You have to have the big bull balls to face some of the interviews.
I've been growing some balls here. So
You feel like people's criticism and people saying that it wasn't that spicy or it wasn't too dramatic was because you didn't really get one-sided, or you didn't really explore one side in particular, but you kept things balanced most of the time. That's you think that's the reason why they feel like it was not too spicy?
Yeah, and we had a lot of experts, and those people are boring, and we had a lot of doctors and scientists, and the people that our goal with that was really to reach the doctors and the politicians and the influencers, and so we tried to keep a little bit more of a educated approach to it. I think this time we'll still have that, but we're also going to have a lot more entertainment. So we're going to be having actors reenact things, and this is going to be good.
But it's not gonna get into Jake Paul territory of no. Okay.
No. still gonna be very truthful and honest, but just a little more entertainment value, I think.
Okay.
Agora traduz, Daniel.
Esqueci-me da tradução. Basicamente eu estava a perguntar se ele pensa que a maior parte dos críticos criticaram o filme A Billion Lives não ser muito picante, muito dramático, porque não foi aprofundado, não foi tão aprofundado em nenhum dos lados, mas manteve a discussão acesa e balanceada na maior parte do filme. Se ele pensava que foi essa a maior razão para a crítica que fizeram ao filme, e ele admitiu que sim, em parte, mas em certa parte também o facto de que muitos destes entrevistados e muitos destes cientistas e muitos destes envolvidos são pessoas um pouco aborrecidas no discurso, e que no próximo filme ele vai tentar apimentar a coisa um pouco mais, mas não entrando em território de Jake Paul.
Yeah. E que entre o Zero e o Michel Moore, que fica a meio para não destoar muito. I'm so thrilled. I'm having difficulty to read the chat because I'm so emotional. Now it's Aaron that stopped. Yeah, he's back. I'm so emotional about this. Listen. A few weeks ago, an international reviewer from England had his home robbed with all his vaping gear and equipment and video equipment. So all around the world, in a few days, everybody helped him to buy all the stuff because it was his way of living. For me, this is a part-time. This is a hobby, but for guys like Daniel and that guy from England, it's their job. And it was a huge amount of people gathering in through PayPal to help the guy to reestablish his channel. Somebody was saying in one of my last videos, I was having problems with my laptop. I was doing this all work of reviewing and live streams in a laptop, and I was having crashes in the middle of the videos, having problems in the rendering the videos, editing the videos. So somebody doing a live streaming of 6 hours during the night, throw it away. The people, let's help JB to buy a computer. Daniel did the first movement. That's why I say Daniel is the first on everything. He was my first Patreon.
Yeah.
And in a few days, I had enough amount to buy a new computer, buy antennas to my GSM signal for the internet, and I had a few helps, huge helps from the Portuguese guys and from Brazil, from all over the world in Portuguese language. And somebody was saying, even in a small community like Portuguese language, we can help each other getting to great achievements for doing better things for vaping. And now somebody was saying in the chat that about your achievement. Where is it? That Portugal, Brazil, the Portuguese language and vaping, we can do a huge success when we join together with the same fight, with the same goal. And this is
Today is just to prove that that's true.
Yeah.
Once again.
I've got another question from Elson Souza.
Amazing people.
Yeah, I've got another question from Elson. So it's not a question, it's a comment. Besides not having a huge amount of followers in my channel, I've got a small number of gigantes following.
Gigantic people following.
Yeah, following and helping the vaping community. And I'm going to translate and thank you, Elson Souza, in Portuguese because he's Brazilian. Elson Souza, muito obrigado pelo comentário. Não tenho um número gigantesco de seguidores, mas sim tenho um pequeno número de gigantes a seguirem. E isso é...
Pequenos mas bons,
pequenos,
como diz o Tuga.
Pequenos mas bons. Eu estou-me a ouvir as lágrimas aos olhos e eu queria ver se me controlava sem chorar hoje. Portanto... João Ribeiro is asking, it's the second time he's asking, and sorry, João, because the super chat lights up the comments, and the normal chat is a little bit difficult to follow all the questions. João Ribeiro is a shop owner in Portugal. He's asking if you have any plans to visit Brussels.
Especially
because of the TPD concerns.
Yeah, we did go to Brussels last time and have some footage of that. I think if there's if there's something that we can actually help or someone we could talk to there, I think we would go. But right now we don't specifically have anyone that we know we could talk to there, and we have footage from Brussels that we might use ready, perhaps if we need to show it. But yeah, we haven't we don't have any specific plans to go to Brussels, but we're not against it.
Do you feel like when it comes down to talking about the TPD and some of these European regulations, it's kind of hard to reach the right people and get answers?
Well, yeah, in some ways, for sure. You know, it seems like it's such a spread out, different organization. The EU is a little bit tricky to navigate. And, you know, I think in a lot of ways, we're going to depend on the community. If there's certain people we need to talk to, we always take tips. So if people are saying, hey, you need to talk to so-and-so, we always reach out to try to do that in general. And, you know, sometimes that's led to good things, other times not. But we're a small team, you know, and we cannot reach everyone. So we need everyone's help, you know, identifying, you know, who are the main people we should be talking to. And then, you know, then we'll do our best with that for sure. But we're not opposed to going to Brussels. We'll be in the area. We could go there if we needed.
Daniel, faz o teu papel.
Não, basicamente, tocando nas palavras do João Ribeiro, ele diz que não tem grandes planos de ir a Bruxelas, mas que também, tal e qual como o filme anterior, ele depende sempre, somos uma comunidade pequena, mas ele depende sempre de nós e de todos nós, de fornecermos as informações corretas e fornecermos ou disponibilizarmos as pessoas ou os conhecidos que nós temos que o poderão levar a atingir os fins ou poderão levar a atingir as pessoas certas para falar, mas tal como muitas outras coisas na Europa e especialmente em Bruxelas, é relativamente complicado chegar-se a respostas de Bruxelas.
Carlos Ferreira, obrigado pela doação, obrigado pelos parabéns, mais 2 euros. Another super chat with a comment. Thank you, Carlos. Another 2 euros for my super chat. Now, how much do we have in the Kickstarter? $50,048. So, what is your next goal, Aaron?
Well, I gotta walk here because there's actually the Super Bowl is happening and there's a bunch of people in the other room that are trying to come in here. So,
they are going to commemorate with you at this moment.
Yeah.
Pronto. Agora foi a net dele que foi que speech.
Yeah.
Yeah. Daniel, que tal é esta comemoração em português e ter este gajo a conseguir atingir este valor num direto em português e dar o arranque a este...
Hey, I let you guys in. Sorry, I didn't realize you were out running. I'm sorry. Go in there. Oh my goodness. So anyway, sorry about that.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, I was... I didn't look at the time here. So anyway, all right. So the next goal, basically on the Kickstarter, you know, we're going to rework that a little bit now, you know, and add some more details to that. I guess we didn't want to assume too much, you know, as far as how much interest there would be in the project. And so I know the next thing it says is that the 100,000 level, like, we're going to add more publicity, but I'm also going to add something about subtitles in there and other stuff as far as like different countries. We'll probably have at certain levels, we'll be able to get subtitles for like the top 3 countries or, you know, something like that. I don't know. We're going to have to get some details worked out here though. But I would say that at we'll probably do every 50,000 will be another level that, you know, essentially we, you know, we'll be able to add more things to. I mean, ultimately though, it's mainly going to go to costs for marketing and getting to do these interviews at different places around the world. So that's mainly what the dollars are going to go for. And so as we have more support, you know, we'll be able to have, you know, have more dollars and, or excuse me, more traveling and more marketing. And, yeah, you know, kind of go from there. So did that answer the question?
Yeah. Eu perguntei ao Aaron qual é a próxima meta agora que atingiu esta primeira, em termos de o que é que ele agora vai querer atingir, o que é que ele vai querer fazer. E ele diz que ainda vai ter que estudar isso para agora poder continuar esta coleta, mas que vai tentar premiar, quer a nível de legendas no documentário, quer a nível das locações e mais entrevistas ou outro tipo de entrevistas, que ele agora vai estudar a possibilidade de ter uma próxima meta, porque ele não estava a contar que fosse tão rápido atingir esta primeira, e então ele estava com alguma dificuldade. O Vítor Martins, obrigado pelo contributo, que diz, depois de ter apoiado no Kickstarter, deixa aqui também um pequeno apoio para o canal. Obrigado ao painel, especialmente ao convidado, Aaron, pelo que tem feito. Aaron, another comment in the super chat. After supporting you in the Kickstarter, he supported me also, and he's one of my Patreons, and he's thanking the panel, the 4 of us, but especially to you, Aaron, for what you are being done until now and you are going to do from now, not being a vapor and doing so much for vaping.
Well, I appreciate all the love, and, you know, I give him all the respect for actually, you know, a lot of people like to talk about supporting, but they don't actually do it, you know, so I would say that for him, he should get a lot of thanks for supporting your channel. Whoop. Yeah, people yelling here. Hold on.
Yeah.
That kid's running around. That wasn't me, by the way. So yeah, I would say that's always something that needs a lot of thanks and support. You know, a lot of people like to talk, but not a lot of people like to act. And so if we're actually going to change things, we need to get people to actually do what they say they're going to do. And so yeah, major respect back to that person.
Vítor Martins, maior respeito por ti da parte do Aaron, não só por apoiares o dele, mas também por me apoiares a mim, porque é nestas pequenas atitudes que as pessoas demonstram o valor que têm e que dão às coisas. Se mais alguém tiver alguma questão assim de última hora que a coloque, Daniel, did you any last question to let Aaron do the commemoration of this goal?
Yeah. I just would like to say to Aaron and also for all the other people from Portugal, I'm not talking in Brazil right now, but I know that the goal is also to be in Brazil. But about Portugal, for sure that we will do it. We need to do it. That's not the point. So the way that we will do it, I don't know it yet, but for sure that we will do it because we already have things running and working together. We will bring the the new production from Aaron to Portugal. And I would like to say thank you, Aaron, for being here, talking with Jorge and Daniel, and talking for all the Portuguese vapors that we'll see and that are seeing right now, this chat, this live. And that's all. Thank you for your time, and it's a lot for you. I know that you don't have time enough to be talking a lot, so thank you a lot for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Well, you're welcome. It's my pleasure, and this was fun. I don't think it matters the size of the group that you have together, as long as it's a good group. And I think that's what we have here, is a really good group of people watching and commenting, and you three are awesome. And I look forward to spend some time together with you guys in person. And that's going to be one of my great joys of filmmaking, is being with people and not just making the films, but celebrating as well. And I look forward to doing that with you three, as well as everyone that's watching live, hopefully.
Daniel, any last words for Aaron?
Yeah, from my part, obviously, thanking you for being here, thanking you for everything you've done, even though you didn't really do it with any profit intentions or with the intention to change the world, but the intention to expose the real truth. Thanking you for all you've done, and thanking you for the work you have ahead, which will probably be insane, but congratulating you, and I want to let you know that I'm really proud that you achieved the first goal. It is just the first goal, so I also hope we achieve all the other goals.
Well, that would be great. But I think we're off to a great start, and yeah, it was fun. I mean, this is where the first goal was reached, so this will be a great milestone.
I don't know how this came here, but somebody donated €2 from my channel. I don't know how, but I've got here a donation of €2, and I don't know how. It's not the super chat. So thank you to The Soul No Cry. The Soul No Cry donated €2.
Very good.
Yeah, this is the new system I've got, so I'm running tests, and so from my part, and now to let you go, commemorate with your family, and enjoy the rest of the day with happiness in your soul for achieving this goal. I want to say a huge thank you, because I know you must be getting so many messages and questions, and working so hard for this new documentary besides your work and your family. You answered me so quickly, and you gave me your availability to do this. So first of all, I want to thank you for that. Thank you for doing a billion lives, because it was a mind changer. It was a transparent fight over the world for vaping, for the health, for saving lives. It's one of the things that I always tell everybody: try to see this movie, because you are going to understand the difference between smoking and vaping. And third, thank you for doing the thing that you are doing. No, not being a vapor, not being a smoker, and being so involved in this fight for health, fight for saving lives. And this is my thank you, very, very strong. Thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome, brother.
So this is to finish this. I think we already thanked you, the three of us. All the public in the chat are thanking you too. Another guy is thanking Aaron for having the balls to do this. You need it. And from Brazil, from the Elson Souza, the guy from the association, is saying that you can count with his support for whatever they can do to help and to be
To
in
promote
Brazil,
over there.
to promote in Brazil your work. So, all that being said, Aaron, you've got the first and the last word to saying goodbye to this chat, and you are going to finish this with a huge power in our hearts, in our souls, for achieving this goal. You have the last word.
Well, you said it so well earlier when you were talking about, you know, what can be done when the community comes together, and I would just echo that here as we wrap up our time together, that in a world that, you know, it seems so divided at times, and historically so many bad things, that when people actually do see something important and they work together on it, those things almost always win. And even though in many places, including Brazil and the US, with a lot of bad things happening to people that are trying to do the right thing, you know, together we can achieve great things. And I believe in that. I believe in the power of the internet, which we're using right now. I believe in the power of film. And I believe in the power of people. And that's something that, you know, when we put all three of those together, I think we are going to change the entire world. And I'm really excited to do that with you guys.
Me too. Thank you very much. Pessoal, vamos dar este direto por terminado. Nós estivemos a fazer os agradecimentos ao Aaron, acho que dispensa traduções. Agradecer todo o trabalho que ele tem feito. Não sendo fumador, não sendo vapor, tudo o que ele fez e tudo o que ele está a fazer pelo vaping a nível mundial, para salvar vidas, para bem da saúde pública, e isto é extremamente importante. Por isso, obrigado a todos que vocês estiveram aí desse lado. Peço imensa desculpa pela parte técnica que falhou, porque eu ainda estou a adaptar-me a este investimento que foi feito, com o apoio de todos vocês também. E graças a alguns patrocínios que entretanto estão a chegar, de algumas centenas de euros, e que têm feito a grande diferença. Mas especialmente hoje, o agradecimento por termos conseguido fazer em língua portuguesa o atingir da meta dos $50.000 para a realização deste segundo documentário do Aaron. Obrigado a todos, uma boa noite a todos, uma boa semana, e lembrem-se, vapear sim, fumar não, porque vapear ou morrer a fumar, portanto mais vale vapear. Obrigado a todos. Fazer a nuvenzinha para a câmara como é habitual, o Aaron não vai fazer, mas obrigado a todos. E eu hoje estou comovido.
Estás todo derreado.
Hoje estou comovido. Deixa-me puxar aqui canhão para fazer nuvem. Vamos lá fazer uma nuvenzinha para a câmara para terminar isto em grande, em beleza e felizes. Aaron, thank you. We are going to finish this with a big cloud to the cameras to end the stream. So we are changing now the channel to finish the stream.